kings. Fire. And blood. Dreams didn't make us kings. Dragons did.
The threat of war looms.
And we are live. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel on this fine Sunday night. And there has been some awesome stuff that has recently dropped regarding House of the Dragon. I know the House of the Dragon content has been kind of, scarce lately as we all await season 2 to come around, or at least wait some info on season 2, some castings, all that stuff. But recently we did have something drop that Leandro and I thought would be fun to come on here, talk about real quick, take a look at some of this awesome stuff that recently dropped. And that is the House of the Dragon concept art book that recently hit shelves. And we're going to take a look at some of it tonight, because I was flipping through some of this stuff earlier, and there's some interesting stuff here, some really interesting designs. And one thing that we love here on this channel, on top of House of the Dragon, is our comic book art, any art in general. So I figured, let's get on here, let's talk about some of this concept art that dropped, and see what we can see. How's it going, Leandro? Thanks for joining me, man.
Absolutely, man. It's a pleasure. No, it's been good. It's been a good Christmas, good Halloween. It's been a good New Year's, and yeah, I thought I'd bring it a little bit festivity here, because it's been a minute, and I don't think you even noticed it, but you see
I didn't notice it, but I do notice it now. But oh, hey, shit, there it is.
That's right.
Very
That's
nice.
right.
Very nice. And I still haven't seen that movie you recommended. I really want to see it, though. What is it?
Violent
Deadly
Night.
Violent Night with David Harbour playing Santa. That one looks very, very fun. I'm definitely going to check that one out. For
Yeah,
sure.
it's a hidden gem, man. I'm telling you, it's gonna be a cult classic.
Nice. Looks like
Absolutely.
it. Looks like it. Yeah, I've been a big fan of his ever since Stranger Things. Really, he's been in a ton of stuff. I've seen him in tons of stuff, movies and TV shows throughout the year. But Stranger Things really was a breakout role for him, and now he's he's being cast as the lead in movies and stuff now. So his career really took off after that, and that's good, because he's good as Hopper.
Well deserved. He did such
Good
a
actor.
good job in this movie, and very convincing. And there's a little tiny spoiler, but Santa Claus was a Viking, at least in this movie. It's
A
badass.
Viking Santa Claus.
Down to tattoos and all. I'm telling you, you gotta watch it.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I'm hooked. I mean, I love Vikings. I love Norse mythology, so that's even more reason to check it out, and I will definitely be doing that for sure.
Yeah, real quick too. Also, I checked out of recommendation from Antoine, the Ottoman.
That's right. I hear it's really good.
Oh, wow. At first I was like, man, they got little historians talking here, but they did such a good job mixing it together, and the docudrama of it all. It was just awesome. I was so hooked. I couldn't stop watching. I went right into season 2 and just finished it, because the second season is with Vlad the Impaler, Dracula.
Okay.
And it's just awesome to see his association with Mehmed Jr. So yeah, definitely check that out. And also Nightfall, man, that was awesome. I was like,
Nightfall was good. Yeah,
Nightfall did more justice to Mark Hamill than
the Star Wars trilogy did. Yeah,
there was a scene where Mark Hamill had to take on a mob.
Yeah,
and I was like, man, he's dead. But man, what happened to him? The reveal of how he came out of that mob.
I know, awesome. Right? I
I
mean,
was like,
it's like take Luke Skywalker, Jedi Master, throw him back in medieval times during the Crusades, make him a Knights Templar, and just let him go to freaking work. It was so
wow,
fun watching him on
it
season 2.
was
Season
because you
3,
told
actually,
me
yeah.
you're like Mark Hamill's in that in second
Yeah,
season. I was
yeah.
like,
He's not in the
damn,
first season like
no,
at all, I believe.
no,
I believe he
no, he's
comes in
not.
later on.
Yep,
But yeah, he completely takes the show over when he does make his appearance. It's
yeah,
his show from there on out.
absolutely. Very
Yeah.
convincing, very, very,
Mm.
very good acting in that second season. Good job.
Yeah, plays a very, very good Templar. Very good, the old grizzled Templar that is,
Yeah,
trying to teach and I believe he was even the one who trained Landry.
yes,
So
he
it's,
did.
kind of
Retrained
ties
him.
it in. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, really
Yeah, it
good
was
show.
awesome. He had that growl in his voice, and he was just
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
ah.
Yeah, you
It
can
was
tell he's
cool,
just this
man.
grizzled old war vet that has seen some shit, been through the
Yeah,
shit, came out the other side, and is teaching others to survive.
I'll tell
So
you what, he looked like he was having fun in that role too. Mark
yeah,
Hamill looked like he was having a good time. You can just
yeah,
tell how he was acting throughout. Yeah.
definitely, definitely looked like he had fun with that one. More fun than he had on the sequel trilogy, anyway. I'm gonna say that.
Sadly, yeah.
Oh shit! Uh-oh, we got the porn bots popping up already.
What?
Yep, got the porn bots
All right,
in the house.
let's
I
jump
guess
in
we're doing
here.
something right. I guess we are doing something right.
We didn't even use a buzzword for them to pop up, did
No, we
we?
didn't even know buzzwords, nothing. They just they're just drawn to the awesomeness that is the House of the Dragon concept art that we're about to take a look at, I think.
Crazy Mad jumped on it. Good job.
Yeah. Nice. Thank you, Crazy Mad. And joining us as well, Aldous. What is up, Aldous? Good to see you, my friend.
How we doing, sir?
Doing good, man. Doing good. About to take a look at some new awesome concept art and some deleted stills that have recently dropped on House of the Dragon season 1. And some of these designs, I mean, especially when we get to the actual dragons, some of these designs that are in these concept are even cooler than the final version that we got on screen, I would say, in some cases. So some cool stuff we're going to take a look at real quick.
Nice.
Fantastic.
Hey,
Yeah.
Aldous, what's up?
What's going on, man?
Chilling,
Good to see you.
chilling. Same here.
Yes, indeed. And of course, we got the glorious chat with us tonight. Let me scroll up and see who we got with us on this fine evening. I see Aardvark. What is up, Aardvark? Give me that Dungeon Dragon. Yes, we are definitely going to take a look at that one. That one was probably my favorite one. Me and Leandro were just looking
Agreed.
at it before the stream started. Definitely probably my favorite design. I wish we would have ended up getting it on screen, and maybe once season 2 comes around and we get a better look at Vermithor, who knows, maybe it'll be close to this final design, because that looked really sick indeed. We got American Comics Co. in the chat throwing up the Shelby raid. Thank you everybody who came over from the Shelby raid. Awesome stuff
guys.
indeed. We got the Art and Times of Jay Ryan in the chat. Dragon, I'ma be Dragon D's nuts. I mean, hello everyone. What is up, Art and Times of Jay Ryan? And definitely subscribe to the Art and Times of Jay Ryan if you're not. He is going to be putting out a lot of content this year, he's a great artist himself. So definitely give him a sub for sure. We got Earth's Best Entertainment in the chat as well. What is up, Earth's Best Entertainment? It is good to see you. We got Matty Fowler throwing up the bow. What is up, Matthew Fowler, the Fudge King himself? And of course, now, thanks to Chris Stanley, the Mad Lad that is known as Chris Stanley, we now have a ton of new channel emojis, and among them is a bow emoji. We got a kneel emoji. We got all kinds of new channel emojis for members now, thanks to Chris Stanley gifting. I mean, he must have gifted 30 to 50 memberships last night. It was absolutely insane.
Awesome.
Just nuts. So wherever Chris Stanley is, I hope he is having a very, very well night, and that was just very humbling, man. Very, very humbling.
And a good start to his new year, for sure.
Yes, very good start to the new year.
It's got to be, handing out 30 like that.
It was insane, man. They just kept coming in 5, 5, 5, one after the other. It was
awesome.
it was very humbling. Very humbling. Was not expecting that. Huge surprise. And I thank Chris to the bottom of my heart. And of course, welcome to all the new members. If you were gifted a membership last night, hopefully you do choose to stay after the month is up. We would love to have you. And I have a lot of fun stuff that I am planning on doing for members in the future. And I'm thinking that we're going to vote on our out of the custom emojis that are made for the channel. I think every month, once there's enough members, every month I'm going to have all of the members vote on their favorite emoji, and that one I am going to turn into a sticker, and I'm going to send it out to all members if they want it, so that way they can actually get something physical for being a member of the channel. And I definitely plan on doing some member specific streams in the future as well.
That's pretty cool, man. I like that idea.
Yeah, we're going to do some fun stuff. We're going to do some fun stuff. If someone's going to be a member of this channel, I want them to get something out of it on top of just the streams. And I figured if I can throw everybody a nice sticker every month just to start, maybe some magnets some months, or some other stuff some other months. But yeah, we're definitely going to be doing that.
Yeah, magnets would be definitely good as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I think magnets would be good. The magnets seem to be very popular for sure. Yeah. For sure. Matthew Fowler has an updated web shop, and you can check it out right here, retrographicbooks.com. I love to see that. Love to see these websites popping up from all of these creators creating their own stuff. Awesome stuff indeed. We got Margie Music in the chat. What is up, Margie? Good evening, my gracious souls. Looking forward to what you have in store for us tonight. Exciting. Yes, it is exciting indeed. We got some awesome concept art to look at that we are going to dive into right here in a moment. It's, yeah, like I said, the House of the Dragon news has been kind of scarce lately. There hasn't been a whole lot going on the House of the Dragon front. So when I saw this drop, I figured, all right, let's take a look at this and let's see what we got here. And lo and behold, there is some awesome designs in here. We got Crazy Mad in the chat as well. What is up, Crazy Mad? It is good to see you. We got some person in the chat as well. I heard you say Mark Hamill and Star Wars. That is right. That is right. Mark Hamill, on top of being Luke Skywalker in Star Wars, he was actually in a show called Nightfall a few years ago, and it was a really, really good performance by him. He absolutely killed it playing a Knights Templar from back in the Crusades. And Leandro just got done watching the show, and he was praising Mark Hamill's performance as well. Really good show.
Oh, man. Great job. Yeah. Check it out, guys. Check it out.
Yeah. Yeah. Check out Nightfall if you haven't already. Definitely.
It lines up with historical facts, too. Yeah. I couldn't believe some of the stuff I was watching. I was like, nah, this had to be fake. I looked it up. Wow, this actually happened.
Yeah, it's I mean, some stuff is dramatized, but a good amount of it is historically accurate. Absolutely. Yes. And those shows are always, better when they have, historical accuracy to them. For sure. For sure. But tonight we are going to be taking a look at some of this stuff. Now, now this just dropped last week, I believe, a few days ago, and I saw it recently starting to make the rounds, and I figured let's get on here and take a look at some of this awesome concept art. And on top of concept art, apparently there are a lot of deleted stills that have never been released, like these, and a few of them even hint at potential deleted scenes. Which we're going to look at in a minute when they pop up. But here we got the Dragon Pit right here. It's nice to get a nice big view of the Dragon Pit. I know we see it in season 1, but we don't actually see it as a whole up close and personal like this. So I'm really hoping we get some good shots of the Dragon Pit over these next few seasons, because in the books, it really is described as this just monumentous freaking structure, like so huge, like almost like these pictures kind of don't do the actual size of it justice.
Really?
Yeah.
It feels like a dome. It does feel.
It's huge. Yeah. Absolutely huge dome.
Yeah, it looks pretty good though.
And but yeah, no, I like it. I mean, I'm pretty. This is the version I believe they ended up going with. This must have been an earlier iteration of it.
I like the
down
earlier
here on the bottom.
version. I like the earlier version.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. Here we have the Sept. Now we do see the inside of the Sept on a few episodes, but looks like this was the earlier concept art of the Sept. Now remember here in the episode where Aegon is actually running away from the Kingsguard, and when he doesn't want to become king, they actually catch him right here
Oh,
in
that's
front of this
right.
courtyard. If you remember, the
Yes.
two twins are fighting on the stairs up
Yep.
here, and Aegon and Aemon are down here struggling. Yeah, this is the original concept art for the Sept. Not a whole lot of changes. The final version did look pretty similar to this, and the inside looks pretty similar to the final version on the show as well. So I don't think they changed much here, but just
Jeremy, he
yeah,
was inside there hiding under the table, right? When they
that's
found him?
right. He was hiding under here.
Yeah,
That's right, hiding
that
under the
was
altar there. Yep.
was.
And they find and they yoked him up.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool indeed. Very cool indeed. Now here we have some more concept art. Now this one, I mean, this is a very interesting one. I believe this is supposed to be Storm's End, the ancient seat of House Baratheon, and it's pretty interesting to see what they come up with. It looked pretty accurate to how we see Storm's End, depicted. Um, on the show we see Lucerys actually land his dragon here in this courtyard, and actually it's over this wall that he ends up seeing Vhagar in the distance, and you see Vhagar kind of poke its head up over the wall. It's a lot harder to tell
Yeah.
because it's nighttime during the scene and it's really heavy rainfall is coming down, but yeah, that's that same courtyard right there at
He was
Storm's End.
off to the left where you first started
Yeah,
circling your arrow,
yeah,
correct? Yeah.
yeah.
'Cause
Vagar
he
was up here to the left, and he
Mhm.
kind of landed somewhere over here, I think.
That top picture looks kind of phallic.
Yeah, it almost does. I mean, it almost looks a little too small for Storm's End. Maybe
Yeah.
it's just the angle, but you know, yeah,
Yeah. Pretty cool.
yeah. Now here we have Driftmark, and of course we went to Driftmark for the funeral of Lena Velaryon, which was pretty similar here. How they committed her body to the sea just like they did on the show. So the concept art is pretty similar there, and I really like how Driftmark came together on the show. They picked a really good island, and it fits the island of Driftmark perfectly, especially in terms of the island that they filmed at. If anyone who watched the behind the scenes stuff, they could only get to that island during low tide. During low tide, apparently a road would appear that would lead to the island. If you wanted to get there any other way, you would have to take a boat. So it was a really good filming location for Driftmark, I thought. Good stuff.
Nice.
Very good stuff. Now here we have some more deleted stills, and I think this is just alternate costumes for some of the characters, like Daemon. I don't think we ever saw Daemon wearing this, but
Right.
just some alternate stuff. Eve Bess, Rhaenys in her badass armor. Love that
Yeah, I
armor.
zoomed in on that, and the details are awesome. You can
Yeah.
kind of tell
Yeah.
the craftsmanship is top notch on that.
Yeah.
Crazy Mad, he says it looks cool, but it's also the downfall of the dragons. Do you know what he's referring to?
Yes, the dragon pit. That is right. The
Okay.
dragon pit
Yep.
is,
Okay.
as momentous of, as big a feat as it is to build something like the dragon pit. Yes, Crazy Matt is 100% right. It really was. That was the beginning of the end for the Targaryen dragons. Because even if the Dance of the Dragons didn't come along, the Civil War didn't come along and decimate the ranks of the dragons, their time was limited anyway. The second they started locking these dragons up and chaining them up in pens, and it goes back to the old saying, a dragon is not a slave. Dragons that are in captivity do not do anywhere near as well. They don't grow as big. They don't become as strong. They don't eat as much. Dragons are not meant to be in captivity like that. So the second the Targaryens built the dragon pit and started housing their dragons in there, little by little, generation after generation, they started getting smaller and smaller and less fierce and less
It makes
fierce.
sense because reptiles, when you keep them in enclosure, if you don't enlarge that enclosure, they kind of stay in like a little small,
Yeah.
domicile size.
Yeah. It's they need, they're big. They're big animals. They they need room to, to grow, to fly, and to become the
To
badass
live.
beasts that they are. And yeah, once you start chaining them up and throwing them into dragon pits, unfortunately, it's going to stunt their growth, and eventually they would have ended up dying out if the Dance of the Dragons didn't take them out. That probably would have. Some alternate stills of Corlys. Now here is a still that we didn't get on the show. This looks like it was a deleted scene. Maybe the deleted scene will be a part of the Blu-ray set. And this looks like it is Criston Cole getting named to the Kingsguard. And as we can see, this is very early on of the series. It still looks very healthy here. This is before he really starts to break down and stuff. He's still got the whole head of hair and everything here. So this is definitely very early on. This probably would have taken place within episode 2 or so, I would say. But yeah, it looks like this. Hopefully, it'll be a deleted scene that we can see, the full scene on the box set of the series, knighting Sir Criston Cole to the Kingsguard.
Hey, Jeremy, if you don't mind, real quick before we lose his comment, King Scotto asked, "Have you watched The Rig yet? If you have, what was your thoughts on it?" I saw it pop up on Amazon. I haven't watched it yet.
I haven't seen it myself yet either, but I will check it out if it's good. If that is a recommend, I will definitely add it to the list and check it out when I get a chance for sure.
Same here.
The Rig, I'll make a mental note for sure. For sure. It looks cool, but it's also the downfall of the dragons. Yes, it definitely was. I'd be wary of that road. Yeah, I know, me too. A road that you can only get to during low tide, and it's usually only available for a few hours out of the day at that. So when it came to filming on that particular location, I imagine it was definitely a bit of a challenge at times. Let's see, we got some alternate stills of the fight between young Aemond and Rhaenyra's sons, Lucerys and Jacaerys, right before Aemond loses his eye. So,
but he still whooped some butt there, though.
Still whooped some butt, yeah, for sure. He might, and like he says, he may have lost an eye, but he gained a dragon.
But he gained a dragon.
The
dragon.
The dragon. Here we have some more stills of Daemon and Rhaenyra walking on the beach. Now, and this was the episode that a lot of people kind of had some critiques about in terms of the lighting issues. It was very reminiscent of the Long Night episode on Game of Thrones, and
filter.
The dark filter, and that's why it's always going to be a big challenge when you're filming a scene during the day and you're trying to make it a nighttime scene in post-production. It's never going to look organic. It's never going to look naturally nighttime like it would if you were actually filming at night. So yeah, all of these scenes were filmed during the day, and then they went back in post-production to try and put the nighttime filter over it, and it just didn't come through too well. Yeah, didn't come through too well on screen, I would say. Yeah, and it reminded me and a lot of other people of the Long Night episode from season 8.
No, I was gonna say it made people adjust their TVs because I was one of those people.
Yep. Me too. I'm sitting there fiddling with settings because that's what they said last time when a lot of people had complaints about the Long Night. A lot of people had complaints about the lighting issues on the Long Night when that first aired, when season 8 was on TV, and that was the cinematographer's response to the criticism. Oh, you must not have had your TVs on the right settings. If I have to change my setting every time an episode of TV comes on, no, I'm sorry,
Agreed.
That's just ridiculous. That's just ridiculous. I don't have to change it for any other show I watch. Why do I have to change it for this?
Yeah. That's just poor justification for their error.
Just a bad excuse. Bad excuse, yeah. Up next, we have another shot of Harwin, strong, break bones, right before he meets his unfortunate end by the hands of his own brother, nonetheless. Just absolutely savage, man. Clubfoot ain't playing around, man.
Nope.
Fucking
Clubfoot likes that foot, though.
He does, man. He does. He fucked the hand of the king. He wants the foot of the queen. That's what he wants. Yeah, Harwin Breakbones, really great character, and this was one of the characters that even George wished had a little bit more time to flesh out, especially during the 10-year time jump. You hear George talk about how he really wishes they could have spent more time with Damon and Lena over in Essos, and he really wishes they could have spent more time with Rhaenyra and Harwin during those 10-year time jump. And I definitely wish that too. There's so much stuff happens during that 10-year time jump that they unfortunately just skipped over in the show that we didn't get to see on screen, unfortunately.
Mhm.
There's a lot of good stuff that we missed out on there. But I
Real
got to hand
quick,
it to,
Jeremy, do
yeah.
you think those time jumps was a good thing to happen to the show, or do you think they could have done without?
I think either way they were up against the guy. Either way, there was going to have to be some type of time skippage at some point, just because the Dance of the Dragons, the actual war itself, only takes place over the course of 2 years. But
Okay,
everything setting up the dance, everything that we see in season one, there's
right.
about 29 to 30 years of history that they
Mm,
have to set up and get through before they even get to the war. So I understand at some point there has to be some type of time jumps, just because how else are you going to cover 30 years worth of
right,
history in a single season of television? You got to
right.
do some types of time jumps somewhere. I feel like they did the best they could adapting material like that. The material in Fire and Blood is it's
It's
very
vague.
much, it's very vague. It's kind of just like a recounting of events, not with a whole lot of detail. There's no dialogue. There's no point of view chapters like the main series, so you don't really get to hear a character's inner dialogue and stuff like that. So they really had to make up a lot of the dialogue on the fly, and I think they did a brilliant job.
Yeah, I
Um,
think they knocked it out of the park.
yeah.
Have read, a part of that.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think they did a great job filling in with the dialogue and stuff. And I felt, the time jump. I know a lot of people felt they could have done without, but
Yeah.
I felt it helped set up a lot of the payoffs that came later in the season. So,
Yeah. For
especially with the
sure.
relationship in between the characters and the development. So, I
Yeah.
think it was a good payoff.
Yeah, no, I think it was good. I think they did about as good as you possibly can adapting material like Fire and Blood, especially with having that 29 years worth of history that they have to get through in one season. I think they did as well as anyone could expect adapting it and staying true to the source material while filling in the gaps where they had to. Because like you said, not a whole lot of dialogue in Fire and Blood, so they were going
Mm,
to have to fill in some gaps here and there, and I feel like so far they're nailing it,
wow,
absolutely nailing it.
great job. They did a great
Yeah.
job.
Here we go. This looks like it is another deleted scene, and I imagine this is probably when Rhaenyra and Daemon first bring baby Aegon and Aegon the younger and Viserys the second to meet him for the first time. I'm thinking,
Now
unless
look
this is a
under there.
difference, unless this is a different flashback scene of maybe when his own Aegon was first born. Could be either or, because it looks like this is Allison here in the background.
Oh,
Could
okay.
be.
Yep. Yep. Now
Um,
I was saying right here
and
that
yeah, see the
green.
arm.
What is that?
Well, at this point in time, he had already lost his arm, so they just didn't CGI it out for the
Oh,
picture here. And that was a mistake they actually made on an episode for his finger. Actually, if you go back to I forget what episode it is, episode 4 or 5, I believe. If you look really closely during one of the small council meetings, you can see the green over one or two of his fingers. Like they
no
forgot
way.
to CGI it out, yeah, in the final cut.
I'll check
And
that out.
yeah, that looks like that's going on here. This was after Viserys lost his arm, and they just didn't CGI it out for the picture.
That's funny.
Shit. We got another still of Daemon taking off Vaemon's head, which was an insane scene. Probably the best
Epic.
episode of the series, I would
Epic.
say. Episode 8, Viserys' last stand, so to speak. Definitely my favorite episode overall. I loved, it ended off on a really good cliffhanger for season one, setting up season two brilliantly. But this was the shining moment of House of the Dragon season one. I thought episode 8, the series' last stand, both in the throne room and then at the dinner, then later on the dinner scene where he kind of gets up and makes one last final plead with his family to try and,
Mhm.
put their differences aside. Just insanely powerful episode all around.
In this scene, Damon was egging him on a bit under his breath, right? He was like, "Say it,
Yeah,
just go
say
ahead and
it.
say it."
Say
And
it.
you can see the King's Guard ready
Yeah, yeah,
to not really attack
yeah,
him, but escort him out.
yeah. Yeah, because you hear Otto disarm him, and Damon's like,
Right.
no need, no need.
Yep, that's what he's like. I got what I want. I got what I want.
I did what I had to do. Did what I had to do. He was disrespecting my woman. Can't have that. Can't have that.
I have justice. I'm good.
Yeah. We got another still here. We all remember this scene. Allison forcing the poor girl to drink the moon tea, and there was a lot of actually debate when this scene first aired. People were debating whether or not it was actual moon tea that Allison gave her or poison. Whether did she really kill this poor girl? I have a feeling it was probably moon tea. It looks like this was not a isolated incident, so to speak. It looks like this is something that Allison has had to do multiple times. Due to Aegon's, rapey ways. But yeah, I have a feeling it was probably really moon tea, and it looks like she just paid her off to keep her silence. I don't think she really poisoned her.
Yeah, I mean, when she was talking to her, that scene, she seemed more, she was being compassionate about it.
Yeah,
So if she was trying to kill her, I don't think she would have been that compassionate.
yeah, for sure. Crazy Man says they were getting smaller and more convoluted as time went on. Yep. And that's right. They say the last dragon was the size of a cat. That's right. The last dragons during the reign of Aegon III, when the dragons eventually went extinct, the last few that did end up hatching, never got any bigger than around a cat size. And that is why Aegon III is forever known as Aegon Dragonsbane, because the last living dragon died under his reign, which is Daemon and Rhaenyra's son.
Wow.
Yep. Were they inbreeding the dragons as well? Well, that's the thing. The dragons are the dragons kind of just lay eggs whenever they want to. Syrax lays a few clutches of eggs. I believe Dreamfire. There's a rumor that Dreamfire lays a clutch of eggs. Some people actually think that Daenerys' dragons, Drogon, Viserion, and Rhaegal, actually came from Dreamfire, which is Helena's dragon on House of the Dragon right now, actually. So no, it's not so much inbreeding for dragons as more of them just laying clutches of eggs every once in a while. It's probable, but dragons are both male and female. That's the thing. George has, we don't know 100%. I know we call dragons male and female. Like Vhagar is referred to as a female. Caraxes is referred to as a male dragon. But yeah, I believe George has said on occasion that dragons could both be male and female, or they can switch their sex. I think male dragons can also lay eggs as well. It's very, he hasn't nailed that lore 100% down yet, unfortunately. We got Jay Desolate Soul Studios Doyle in the chat. What is up, Jay? Good to see you, my friend, and welcome, new member. The rig has a lot of Game of Thrones actors in it. I haven't seen it yet, but it looks okay. Yeah, I'll have to check it out for sure. I haven't even heard of it actually, but if it's got a good amount of Game of Thrones actors in it, I'll check it out for sure. The rig, yeah, making a mental note for sure. The only other way you could do it is have a full season and then time jump for season 2. That's. I mean, if they were going to do it that way, they would have had to have a full season 1 with just the young actors. Now, because of course, they had Millie Alcock playing Rhaenyra at first before the switch to Emma D'Arcy. And if they were going to do something like that, have a time jump in between season 1 and season 2, then yeah, I wouldn't have minded seeing Millie Alcock get an entire first season as young Rhaenyra. They would have been able to flesh things out a little bit more. And then when season 2 starts, you start that time jump, from the next the 10 years later, then you can bring in Emma D'Arcy and the rest. That would have been okay. I would have been okay for that.
Yeah, definitely. But I think Crazy Man, the reason why they did what they did is because they didn't I don't think they expected this big of support and love from the
think
fans.
so?
Yeah, I think that's why they try to, as you said, they try to make this first season very epic,
Yeah.
and try to set up for the next season with the dragons.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I think they really wanted to get to the dance, and I think season one was always meant to be a setup season. And just given the nature of the way that the Dance of the Dragon story is told, like we said earlier, you have that 29 years of history to get through before you even get to the actual war. So I just, as soon as they announced House of the Dragon was going to be set on the Dance of the Dragons, I had a feeling that season one was going to be primarily set up for the war. And yeah, I think they did as well as anyone possibly could have hoped, adapting that kind of material, having to cover 29 years in one season. I think they did as good a job as anyone could have expected. I was very blown away with it, and I think a lot of other people were as well. It's good. I think the show is on the right track. I think it's in good hands. I know there has been that recent news about why Miguel Sapochnik may or may not have left the left as showrunner. Me personally, as long as Ryan Condal and George are both attached to this project and guiding it going forward, I'm gonna have faith in it. Ryan Condal is the lore master. It sucks to see Miguel leave in the manner that he did, if the rumors are true. But as long as Ryan Condal is still attached to the show, I have faith in the show, and I think it's going to be adapted well. So I think it's. I don't think there's anything to worry about. Hell, if anything, I think there's really good things on the horizon, especially now that they are bringing in Alan Taylor to direct and as executive producer. And for those who don't know, Alan Taylor actually directed season one, episode 9, where Ned Stark lost his head, which was in many ways an episode that kind of changed television forever. Before that, you just didn't see something like that. A big production main series like that killing its main character off in its first season. You just never saw stuff like that. That's, usually a character like that has all the plot armor in the world. But yeah, they did something really bold on season 1 of Game of Thrones, killing off Ned in the manner that they did. And I feel like it kind of changed television forever. And Alan Taylor was the one who directed that episode. So I think he's going to kill it on season 2. So I think the show is in good hands. I ain't worried.
And folks, check out Jeremy's videos, because he touched up on that.
That's right. That's right. Thank you.
In detail, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely check that video out after the stream for sure. For sure. Here we got another still, and it looks like this was, the scene between Rhaenys and Alicent when Alicent has Rhaenys locked up. This is right before the unfortunate bursting through the floor that Meleys and Rhaenys does. Pretty much the only moment in season 1 of House of the Dragon that really just had me looking at the screen like, are you kidding me? That was ridiculous. But that was I'll take it though. If I can only have one scene that I'm really upset with in the entire first season, I'll take it. And that was the only scene I really didn't like, to be honest. It just it didn't fit. It seemed like it was spectacle just for spectacle's sake, and we find out later that that's exactly what it was. We hear from the one of the writers say they just thought it would have been cool to see Meleys burst through a floor, so they just did it on a whim. So that, I mean, it was a little weird seeing Rhaenys and Meleys trample hundreds of Team Smallfolk, but for some reason they don't want to burn the greens and end a war before it starts. So the whole sequence just really made no sense. But that was kind of my only big gripe with House of the Dragon season 1, was that scene.
Well, didn't Alicent step in front of her son to kind of give her, like, I guess the writers wanted to give it
that motherly, that that mother, that that mother to mother look, and apparently that's why they mentioned that in the behind the scenes features as to maybe that's why Rhaenys didn't end up doing it. Because that the motherly bond there kicked in, but it just makes no sense. I mean, Rhaenys has no problem trampling and just sending dozens of Team Smallfolk to their death, violent death, but she doesn't want to burn a few greens and end a war before it starts. But yeah, it just, the whole sequence didn't make sense. But it is what it is, I guess. We can't win them all.
Yeah. Well, so some of those people that had power in that decision said that they wanted that shock and awe, but
Yeah.
the payoff it didn't work out.
No,
It
it
didn't work
wasn't. No, the payoff was not worth it. It was like you said. It was kind of shock and awe just for
Mhm.
shock and awe's sake,
Right.
and those are the kind of scenes that you kind of want to stay away from. You don't want to see just spectacle just for spectacle's sake. You want to see
Right.
some logic behind things.
Exactly.
But yeah, is what it is. I mean, it didn't
Mm.
ruin the show by any means for me personally. I mean, it was probably my least favorite episode of the season, but other than that, yeah, the show is still a 9 out of 10 for season 1 for
Absolutely.
me. We got some more stills of Damon and Lena when they were all over in Essos. And this was some more stuff that George wishes that the show had some time to flesh out a little bit more. Here we see Damon about to smash in the head of his bronze bitch here.
So messed
Shit.
up.
So messed up. Just so messed up. This whole sequence was just insane. Absolutely insane. But yeah, it's in the books, Damon is it is rumored that maybe Damon has a hand in his wife mysteriously snapping her neck when she's thrown from her horse. But yeah, looks like we found out what really happened here. Damon was indeed involved. Up next, we have some more deleted stills from when Rhaenyra first gets her crown, right when Eric smuggles Viserys' crown out of King's Landing and brings it to Rhaenyra and declares for the Blacks. And we see Daemon kind of present her with the crown, and then they all kneel. So just another angle of that shot, basically. Here we go. We got the filming of the crowning of Aegon, which was a really cool scene, and everything leading up to Meleys bursting through the floor, I thought was great too. So I definitely want to say that the crowning of Aegon, the crowning ceremony, all of it was filmed really well. It was acted out really well. And then unfortunately we have that tragic Meleys bursting through the floor. But before that happened, it was a very cool scene seeing Aegon. You kind of see the look on Aegon's face, and I feel like in this moment was when he first really starts to want the crown. Up until this point, he wants nothing to do with it. Hell, the dude freaking tries to run away from the crown. He wants to hop on a ship and skedaddle. He wants nothing to do with any of this. But then when he's standing up on that stage and he has Blackfire in one hand and he's got Aegon the Conqueror's crown on, and he looks out and he sees the crowd kind of cheering for him, I feel like in that moment, that is like for the first time he actually wants it. You see him start throwing the sword up in the air, cheering and shit with the crowd. I feel like you see that visual turn in Aegon's eyes from I don't want this to okay, maybe I do want this.
Look at
good
that
scene.
Targaryen emblem there in the middle.
Yes, the
Pretty
three-headed dragon, and that's right. Aegon, usually the Targaryen symbol, the three-headed dragon, is usually black on. It's usually red on a black field. But when Aegon becomes king, in order to honor his dragon Sunfire, he actually switches it from black and red to black and gold. So that's why you'll see the Targaryen symbol will be gold under Aegon's reign instead of red. Let's see, we got some more shots of the boar scene, which takes place in the beginning half of season 1 when Rhaenyra and Cole take out the boar. It's funny, Bobby B can't take out a boar, but fucking little Rhaenyra can. And now here we same episode when Viserys is trying to hunt the white hart, the white stag there, the mythical white stag, but unfortunately they end up just finding a regular old stag for him. And I love how it's not one but actually two people just sitting in a blue suit. That's actually the stag. That's hilarious there.
It looks like somebody took the costume off of him. They're like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah, like someone just ripped the top off. Yeah, and
my God.
that's what's underneath. It's always funny to see how these scenes are filmed. That's for sure. That's for sure. We got a shot of, now this is episode 3 when Daemon is down in the Stepstones, when we first get to see exactly how badass Daemon is when he just takes on the entire crab feeder army. Just some nice shots from there. And of
That's
course,
pretty
Greg
cool.
Yates, a Boston Red Sox fan. I like it.
Damn.
I like it.
That's right. Yeah, it looks like he's telling him hold it right there. We're gonna come in with the camera, like he's just doing his thing, giving him direction.
Mhm. Yeah, I think this is when Damon's he right after he kills the first group of dudes, and you
Hmm.
see him stop and he kneels down, and then he starts taking off running right as arrows start to, arrows would have landed like right where his Achilles heel was. I think
Okay.
that's what that shot is. Him kneeling down, right getting ready to take off sprinting. I'm pretty sure that's what that is there. Yeah, that was one of my favorite episodes as well. After episode 8, I really enjoyed episode 3. You really get to see not only what Damon is capable of, but you get to see what Matt Smith is capable of as well. He's actually a pretty badass athlete, and he's good at scenes like this. He was actually almost a professional soccer player, so he's very athletic
Hmm.
and he's very adapted to action scenes like this. And I thought he killed it, absolutely killed it. Here we have Lena going to her death, getting ready to get burnt by Vagar. This is the scene when she gets burnt by Vagar. Vagar's, of course, CGI. Usually, right around here is where Vagar would have been. So, a little behind the scenes stuff there. A lot of blue screen. Now, here we go.
Mm.
Here we go. This is the one that we wanted to get to. These next few right here. All those stills are great. Don't get me wrong, but this is the stuff that I really wanted to see. The actual concept art, the kind of deleted concepts that didn't get used, and of course we see Damon go down into the dragon pit during one episode, either Dragon Pit or under Dragonstone. And we actually see Vermithor for the first time. And Vermithor at this point in time is the second biggest dragon overall behind Vagar. Vagar, of course, is the oldest and the biggest, but next to Vagar, Vermithor is the second biggest dragon, the second oldest dragon, and I love this design. I know we didn't get a really good look at Vermithor in season 1. It was very dark down there. The only light was coming from Damon's torch. But if Vermithor looks anything even remotely like this, in the light, this just looks badass. I love this design.
Yeah, and as I was telling you in the back room, I was wondering if this was actually constructed,
Hmm.
because it looks rough, like at the bottom of the jaw with
Hmm.
the with the straggling hair. Because if
Yeah.
this was CG, it would have been a lot more detail. But then again, it could have been just
Hmm.
initial draft in CG.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah,
don't
I
know,
get the
man.
feeling it's digital. I mean, it could have been. I mean, just because a lot of the when they do make real models of the dragons, they tend to make them a lot smaller than that. I suppose it could be a real sculpt, but I have a feeling. I mean, just it does look incredibly realistic, but I have a feeling it is probably digital, just a digital concept. I would think it
Okay.
is. But man, look how big freaking Vermithor is! Holy shit! I just love the design. I love the design of this dragon because they kind of went with the old, kind of decrepit, broken down look for Vagar. Vagar's getting so old that bits of her are starting to flake off and stuff. And Vermithor is also very, very old. So Vermithor would be the second dragon that is closest to being, Vagar esque, for lack of better term. So I love
Mm,
this design. I really
yeah.
love this design. It looks so badass.
No, it definitely does.
Mhm. Up next, we have another close up, and I believe this is supposed to be Sea Smoke, Laenor's dragon. It looks the most like Laenor's dragon with the gray scales, with a little bit of the red kind of tint to the wings, which is exactly what Sea Smoke looks like on the show. So yeah, I have a feeling this is Sea Smoke's Laenor's dragon, which we are going to see again at some point. This was one of the few changes that we saw from the book to show, where in the book Laenor does end up dying, where on the show they kind of fake his death. So I'm not sure what they're going to do here with Sea Smoke and later on what's going to happen there, but I'm looking forward to finding out. This looks great.
It does.
Looks great. Up next, we have an alternate version of Cyrax. Now, it's a little bit different than the final version of Cyrax that we got on the show, but I like this version. I think it looks great. I love, it's got that signature kind of Cyrax tail, that same color, just a little bit of a different head, I guess you could say. The finished version that we got on screen of Cyrax has a little bit different of a head and a little bit different horns, but love this design. Would have been really cool to see this one as well.
Yeah, I think the Cyrex that we ended up getting, it looks more agile. You
Yeah,
know,
definitely. Definitely. This one looks closer to, Caraxes' head than the original Cyrax, I guess.
there's a lot of girth underneath his jaw.
Yeah. Up next, now this was one that, judging by the color scheme, it almost looks like Vermax's colors, but this, from what I'm told, this apparently is supposed to be Sunfire. And I think maybe, like you said in the back room, Leandro, I think maybe they just didn't completely finish the coloring scheme here. Maybe this was meant to be a little bit more gold than yellowish green. But yeah, you see the pink translucent wings, which definitely fits the description of Sunfire. And yeah, I have a feeling that they just didn't go in and finish putting in the rest of the gold here, because that, if all of this green was gold, that would be Sunfire to a T right there.
You see it on the tail too.
Yep, yeah, you
That,
see it on the
that
tail.
red
Awesome.
translucent. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, we didn't really get a good look at Sunfire in season 1, unfortunately. Hopefully we get not hopefully, we should get a really good look at Sunfire in season 2. Sunfire is actually involved in one of the biggest dragon battles that hopefully is going to take place during season 2. And it is a very, very big dragon battle with 3 dragons all going at it at once. It's
And
hectic.
that design with the wings is just awesome.
Yeah,
It
man.
doesn't really look baddish. It looks more like a fairy. It's pretty
Okay.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's very, very thin, translucent wings, which look very agile. This dragon definitely
Exactly.
looks like
Yeah.
it's built for speed. I like it. I like it. Now here we have some concept art for Daemon and Rhaenyra's wedding, the Valerian wedding that we see take place in episode 7, I believe, and some nice concept art stuff here. We see what Laena almost looked like. Apparently, this is what they almost had Laena look like on the show, but we saw what the final version looked like. Cool design. Cool design.
Mhm.
We have a alternate version of Aegon. Now, the Aegon that we got on the show ended up being pretty similar to this, except with a little bit longer hair, pretty much. That's kind of the only difference that we kind of get from this Aegon to the Aegon we got on screen is his hair here is a little bit shorter. But there he is, Aegon II, and we're going to see a lot of him in season 2. That's for sure. We got an alternate concept of Alicent, a different dress from Alicent, a little bit different hairstyle. Doesn't look anything like Olivia Cook, but then again, this is just concept art. But yeah, there, she's already got the 7-pointed star there, so pretty similar to what we got on the show. Here we have, this is a little bit different. We got young Aemond and young Aegon here. And on the show, young Aemond and young Aegon ended up having much longer hair, but apparently, yeah, they one of their first iterations, they had some short hair. So not much of a difference there other than the hair, I guess you could say. The final version ended up being pretty similar. Here we have Daemon's bronze bitch, and this is pretty similar to how the final version ended up on the show as well. And it was cool to see those extra behind the scenes photos, and that way we know definitively that Daemon definitely did crush her head in, unfortunately. So, and R.I.P. to the bronze babe, because she's more of a bronze babe than a bronze bitch, I would say.
That's
She
what
is.
Crazy Matt said.
Yeah, she's a cutie. She's a cutie.
She's hot.
Here we got another alternate version of the Rogue Prince himself, and this must have been the episode right when he gets back from conquering the Stepstones, where he wanders into the throne room wearing his own crown a nice driftwood crown that the people of the Stepstones make for him after he smashes the Triarchy and kills the crab feeder. And yeah, just a little bit different than the final version that we ended up getting. The crown is much different. The crown has like jewels in it and stuff. I don't remember seeing jewels in Daemon's crown on the show. I like this version a little better.
Yeah, and this is the one when the his brother was like, looks like you're a king now. Oh, bro.
So yeah, do you wear a crown? So do you also call yourself king? And that was that was a really good moment, because that was the first time in season 1 that we get to see Daemon and Viserys kind of make up. You see that brotherly bond come through, and Daemon quickly takes his crown off, kneels before his brother, and says, "Hey, I recognize that there's only one true king."
That's right.
So it was a good brotherly moment, really good brotherly moment. We got Kayla in the chat. What is up, Kayla? I just got in. Good to see you, Kayla. We're going to be wrapping it up in a little bit, but if you want to pop on for the end, the link is in the DM group there. And thanks for popping in. Always good to see you. Yeah, this is amazing. Recently we got a ton of House of the Dragon concept art that was recently dropped, and we are taking a look at some of it. And now that Kayla is here, I actually want to let me go back and to some of these dragons, because I'm sure Kayla will appreciate this. Oh, of course, there goes my internet. Gotta love it. Gotta love it.
Sucks.
I'll wait a minute, see if that reboots. But I fucking hate it, man. This is it's because my full disclosure, my Ethernet cable shit the bed. I have been streaming on freaking Wi-Fi lately. That's why it's always dropping out. I need to get a new Ethernet cable, so I'm plugged right back into the internet. So that I am going to be doing very soon, because this streaming from Wi-Fi is not cutting it. You just don't get a reliable signal. You don't get a strong, steady signal when you're streaming over Wi-Fi.
Hold on, let me see if I can.
Yeah, the folder's in there if you can pull it up too. Yeah, it should be in the DM group.
No, share entire screen or just window? I think it only is going to let me do window, right? New.
Hey, yeah, I never said I'm a Red Sox fan. I just saw the Boston hat. Boston represent. Definitely not a Red Sox fan. Boston fan, but not a Red Sox fan. I do like the Celtics, though.
So I'm sharing my screen. I don't know if you can see it.
Let's see. I can. Yes, I can. Nice. There we go.
Which one did you want?
Let's go to Vermithor. Show Kayla some Vermithor, some of the dragons. Yes. So now, of course, we got the original version of Vermithor that we got on the show, but this was apparently one of the first concept editions of Vermithor that we almost got on the show. And yeah, I mean, Kayla knows all of the dragons. She knows Vermithor. She knows all these guys. So. Oh, and speaking of, here she is.
Oh my God, this is so cool.
Right. Look at how cool is this, right? Look at freaking Vermithor.
So hold on 1 second, I'm gonna close this door.
Oh yeah, no, you're good. Take your time. Yeah. But yeah, all of this concept art recently just dropped this week, so we figured we'd get on here and take a look at some of it, and just, man, look at this fucking design. It's just so badass.
That is so freaking cool. My internet is super shitty right now.
Oh, I know the feeling.
That's why I'm off camera.
I know. No, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. But
yeah,
I mean,
in my house right now.
Yeah, I got to get a new Ethernet cable. Unfortunately, I've been streaming over Wi-Fi ever since my Ethernet cable is kaput. So,
do you have Comcast too?
Yes.
I swear to God, they suck.
They suck. They fucking suck.
Those are so cool.
Yeah, this is great, right? And I swear this version of Vermithor almost looks a little bit bigger than the version we got on screen.
Yeah, it looks huge. I wonder.
I love the old decrepit look too.
Or this is for next season?
No, this was actually concept art for season 1. When Damon actually goes down under the under Dragonstone and he's singing to Vermithor. This is apparently the early concept art of what that scene. The first concept art of that scene, and we got what it ended up looking like on screen. But this was what we almost got right here, and I love this
wish we
version
got
of
this.
Vermithor. Right? I wish we got this. Oh yeah, shit. I love the old decrepit look. I mean, it's very
Yeah.
Vagar-esque, and like I was saying earlier, next to Vagar, Vermithor is the second oldest and largest dragon that is on the show. Well, we don't exactly know how old Cannibal is and how big Cannibal is because it's a very elusive wild dragon. But of the dragons that we know of, after Vagar, it's Vermithor. Vermithor is the next biggest and oldest one. So I love the kind of decrepit look that they went for here. You can really tell that Vermithor is old here. I love it.
Amazing.
I love it.
There's
yeah,
hope
let's,
for next season, though. Maybe next season,
yeah.
that's what we're gonna get. Like when
I
they really
hope
show
so.
in the light and everything, because
Yes.
they didn't
Yeah.
really show him. They showed him in the dark. So, I mean, there's hope, right? That is such a cool
There's hope.
dragon design.
Yeah,
So
it is.
badass. I love
But it
this
was
design.
it was a good mysterious kind of feel, because look at us. We want more. We wanted to see more.
Oh yeah, we want more Vermithor for sure. It's and yeah, maybe when we get a nice good shot of, because Vermithor is going to play a big part in the story later on. Maybe not so much in season 2, probably closer to season 3 when we get close to the Dragon Seed storyline. Vermithor is going to play a big part, and we're going to see Vermithor in all of his glory. So I can't wait. I cannot wait. Here and up next, this was another cool one, and I believe this has to be Sea Smoke, just judging from the color scheme and from what we saw on season 1. This looks like it is the early version of Sea Smoke, Laenor's dragon.
Gorgeous. I just love dragon art in general.
I love it. I love it.
Like Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon, definitely, it's how I picture. Technically, I think, aren't they wyverns though?
Well, there is that's the $1 million question. How did dragons come to be originally? A lot of people think that dragons originally came about when someone merged a wyvern with a fireworm, because we know that fireworms do exist in George's world. They breathe fire, they tunnel through rock. They were all over the place in the ancient mines of Old Valyria. And we know wyverns are real. They're down in Sithorios. They're in some spots of Essos. Some people think that that's how dragons came to be. You took a wyvern and a fireworm, a little bit of alchemy, and voila, you get your first dragon. But it hasn't been confirmed. George hasn't confirmed anything. We don't know the real origin of dragons, unfortunately. But if I had to guess, I think the wyvern fireworm theory holds the most weight. I don't think they came from a second moon that was in the sky that cracked when it wandered too close to the sun. I don't think any of that happened. I mean, I guess it's possible that they could have sprang forth from the 14 flames, which the Valyrians claim that they found dragons first in the 14 flames of Valyria, just in the volcano. So I suppose that could be another potential origin of them, but I have a feeling it's the wyvern fireworm thing. But that's just my theory.
Maybe it's a combination of both.
Well, could be. Very well could be.
Because Crazy Mad just made a good point in the chat that a lot of people still think Ashai has dragons still.
Yeah, and in the shadow next to Ashai, some people think that there are definitely still dragons that wander over there, over closer to Stagai and the Corpse City over there. And I guess it's true. Unfortunately, George has said in the past that we're never going to actually physically go to Ashai. There's no POV characters that are going to go to Ashai, unfortunately. I hope that he was maybe being a little misleading on that, because Ashai just seems like it's an important place that at the very least Dany has to go to at one point. We see that big prophecy from Danny from Quaith.
Yep.
You know, to go west, you must go east. To go north, you must pass beneath the shadow. Danny needs to go to Ashai at one point. There is something in Ashai waiting for Danny. I fully believe that. Hopefully, we get to see her go there at one point.
Well, I'm kind of hoping if they do the Jon Snow show, that's where she'll end up being resurrected.
Ooh, could be. Could very well be.
I'm hoping, you know.
Yep. Could very well be. Up next, now this apparently is supposed to be Sunfire, but I'm thinking that they just didn't finish putting in the gold. I mean, we can see the pink translucent wings, which is very on point for Sunfire, but this almost looks a little greenish yellow instead of gold. But I'm thinking maybe they just didn't finish the CGI here, that this was originally supposed to be Sunfire.
Jeremy, I like that side-by-side comparison that you did in the back room. Is your computer up? Because you can
Oh yeah,
show that.
yep. I can bring. Oh no, shit. Yep, I can bring mine up.
In a way, this design almost reminds me of like a Pokemon. I don't know why.
It's
Like,
a little
you see
Pokemon-esque.
It kind of looks like Pokemon-esque.
A bit. Yep. Let's see. Yeah, I can pull mine up now. Here we go. Because I have that. There is a side-by-side version here that I saved too. Because a lot of people were saying that this was Sunfire here. There we go. Boom. Now, if you can see, the wings are very much on point. The horns are very much on point here. I just think they didn't finish going in and CGIing the gold. It looks more greenish, yellowish here, but I think this is originally supposed to be Sunfire.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Even
seems-
down to where the arms meet the translucent wings, like the little spines, that you can see. It matches the bottom concept art.
Mm.
So
It
yeah, to
does.
the
It
T.
matches a little bit. It does. It seems like it could be a match. For, like you said, even the tail matches.
Yeah.
Crazy Man said, "Isn't that show on hold as of now?" We don't know which Game of Thrones prequels are on hold. George did put out an update that some of them have been shelved for now, and some of them are close to getting greenlit. I have a feeling that if anything is getting close to getting greenlit, it's probably going to be the Jon Snow show. It seems like the Jon Snow show is the
should take
furthest.
priority over everything. I don't give a shit.
Well, no, I think you're going to get your wish. It seems like the Jon Snow series seems to be the furthest along in production. If we do get a confirmation of a Game of Thrones spinoff, which I do think we're going to get soon, probably within the next few months, I do think that the Jon Snow series probably will be the first one that they confirm is going to series. But
Yeah.
some of them have been shelved recently, but I doubt that the Jon Snow series is one of them.
And the Jon Snow is pretty much the most in demand. That's the one that everybody
It
wants.
is. Give
It's
the
got the
people
most
what they want.
traction. Yeah,
Exactly.
Give me what I
seems to
want.
have the most traction. Just in terms of the the public zeitgeist out there and fan anticipation for it. I've done a ton of polls on my channel alone, asking numerous times which prequel people are looking forward to the most, and every time I put that poll up, Jon Snow wins by a landslide, by hundreds, if not thousands, of votes. So I'll be surprised if the Jon Snow series doesn't get ordered to series. I do think we'll get confirmation on that one sooner than later. The rest of them are up in the air as of right now. Like George said, a few of them did get shelved. And if I had to guess, some of the ones that probably got shelved were probably some of the more obscure ones, like the Nymeria one is probably going to get shelved. I just have a feeling that the Jon Snow one and the Dunk and Egg one, those two are probably the ones that I'm going to bet on that are going to be getting made. It seems like those are the most popular of the two.
Well, they have to do Dunk and Egg.
They got it. People have wanted it for so long.
It's so heartwarming, and how can you not love how they play off each other and everything? Especially when you read it. I suggest everyone reads that book.
Yeah.
Or picks up the comic, the graphic novel version of it.
Yeah.
But then it's just everyone should just read that book.
It is. It's such a good story. Dunk and Egg are a perfect team. It's the perfect kind of and a Dunk and Egg series could potentially last quite a few seasons if they take it all the way up to Summer Hall, and maybe we can actually find out what happened at Summer Hall with Dunk and Egg. That series definitely has the potential to have some legs on it, and I hope that one gets made. I really hope that one gets made.
Oh, they need to do it. They have to. Dunk the Lunk. How can you not love Dunk? I'm sorry. Like when you read the story, when you read that book, it's both Dunk and
He's a true knight. Dunk is a true knight, like what a true knight is supposed to be.
Yeah,
That's Dunk. Yeah.
Yep, it's amazing. I love it, and it's so heartfelt. I feel like
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, it's a
so
great
lighthearted.
story.
It's very
Great
different
story.
than I think the rest of everything else in Game of Thrones,
Hmm.
because there's a more like there's a different tone to that book than anything
Yep.
else. I would say,
Yeah.
it's more lighthearted at times.
Yeah. Yeah, it's more lighthearted. It's more of a character-driven story. It's not a whole lot of magic and stuff like that. It's a down-to-earth, self-contained, really good story about two really compelling characters, pretty much. Yeah, Dunk and Egg. I really hope Dunk and Egg gets made. But yeah, there was also some some other concept art that they dropped. This was apparently the first iteration of what the Dragon Keepers almost looked like. Which is pretty similar to what they ended up looking like on the show. I like this version though, with the banner and everything. That's pretty cool.
They have that
We
Jedi
got
Knight look.
it is a little Jedi-esque, a little Jedi-esque, little Obi-Wan Kenobi-esque for real. Old Obi-Wan, not that.
And of course, George Lucas got that from the samurai
Yes, yep.
look.
Heavily samurai influenced was Star Wars for sure. We got some concept art of Damon and a little bit of a different crown than the crown that he ended up wearing on the show, the Stepstones crown. This one's got some jewels in it. I don't believe there was jewels in the on the show version, but I think I like this version even better. Looks badass, pretty badass. Of course, we got the Bronze Babe right here in her awesome runic armor, and that was one thing that the show did really well, was the armor of House Royce, putting all the runes on it for Runestone. Very fitting. Very fitting. This is what young Aemond and young Aegon almost looked like. Pretty similar to what they looked like on the show, but they almost had short hair instead of long hair, so not much of a difference. Not much of a difference. Some other concepts for Alicent. This is pretty much on par to what we got on the show. Pretty similar to what she ended up looking like. A different version of Aegon, pretty similar to what we got on the show, but with shorter hair. Pretty much is the only difference that I can see here. Our Aegon on the show has a little bit longer hair.
He looks rougher on the show.
Yeah.
He looks like he's been through some things. I mean, he
don't
has
wanna
been
be
through
there.
some things.
He didn't want to be there until he got the adulation of the people.
Yep.
He didn't want to be there. So
Yep.
yeah, he looked rough for sure.
For sure. For sure. Different alternate version of Lena's hair, and it looks like I like this
I
version.
like
Looks
that.
pretty
That's
good.
really cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. It's unfortunate we didn't get to spend more time with Damon and Lena over in Essos, and I know that was something that George really wanted to flesh out a little bit more too. But
Do you know any particular
unfortunately-
reason why George had a fondness to that relationship? Story?
No, not particularly. I think he's just thinking about all of the stuff that happens in the books in between those 10 years that the show didn't get a chance to do, like the relationship between Daemon, Lena, and Rhaenyra, for example. The three of them become incredibly close. They're always flying together on their dragons and stuff. Like there's a lot of good character development moments there that happen in that 10-year time jump that I think George just wanted to get on screen, but they just didn't have the time to.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I like this version. And this almost looks exactly like what we got on the show for the Valerian wedding between Daemon and Rhaenyra. Pretty much exactly the same almost, and it definitely has that Jedi-esque look there.
Mhm.
Old school Valerian wedding. And there it is, back to the dragons. But yeah, there it is. That is all of the new concept art that recently dropped, and all of this stuff is actually compiled in this book that just dropped. So if anyone out there does want the physical version, this is the book right here: Game of Thrones: House of the Dragon, Inside the Creation of a Targaryen Dynasty by Gina McIntyre. So I'm probably going to go and get the physical version at some point. It's definitely something I could add to my shelf of Song of Ice and Fire books.
Yeah, I'm
But,
pretty sure
yeah.
they're gonna have a lot more illustrations in that.
Oh
than
yeah,
the show. Yeah.
oh yeah, for sure. There's going to be a lot. There is going to be a lot. But yeah, I just I thought it'd be fun to hop on here real quick, take a look at some of this awesome concept art that dropped real quick with my peeps. With my peeps. And of course, yeah, we got some concept art of the Dragon Pit, what the Dragon Pit is looking like, what the final version to the original concept art version. We got the Sept, which ended up being pretty similar to what we got on the show when episode 7, I believe it is, when Aegon's trying to run away from the throne, hiding under the altar there. Looks pretty similar. Here we got Storm's End, some Storm's End concept art that we end up seeing in the finale. Of course, the battle above Storm's End, the Battle of Shipbreaker Bay, that kind of kicks the entire Dance of the Dragons off. And here we got some concept art of Driftmark, and I love the Castle of Driftmark. This is probably my favorite location on the show from season 1. I just love how they brought Driftmark to life from that island and the road that is only available during low tide and stuff like that. It was just Driftmark they nailed, I thought. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. And of course, just some more stills, some alternate costumes and stuff like that that was unreleased. But yeah, it looks like all of this was. Oh, and this was another interesting one. It looks like there was a deleted scene of Kristen Cole becoming a member of the Kingsguard. And like I was saying earlier, this definitely looks like it took place earlier on, probably during episode 2 or 3 or so, around there. Because as you can see, Viserys is still very much healthy here. He's still got a whole head of hair. He's got all of his limbs. And yeah, it looks like there is a deleted scene out there of Viserys knighting Sir Kristen Cole to the Kingsguard. So hopefully that'll be on the box set. But yeah, just some unreleased stills and a lot of concept art. Another deleted scene here of Viserys holding either Aegon or maybe even Daemon and Rhaenyra's Aegon when they come to visit. Of course, this is after he lost his hand. They didn't CGI out his hand there, unfortunately.
I was like, who's grabbing him?
Yeah. Yep, they did not CGI it out. But yeah, there it is. All of the new concept art and some new stills that we were previously unreleased. Daemon about to crash in the Bronze Babe's head. Shit. Oh, shit.
So sad.
But yeah, there it is. And it is all available right here on this brand spanking new Game of Thrones House of the Dragon Inside the Creation of a Targaryen Dynasty by Gina McIntyre, which I am definitely going to go and get a copy of. I'm going to check it out on my local bookstore. I'm sure it will be in stock there. If not, I'm sure it'll be able to find it on Amazon. But yeah, there it is. Some all new concept art from House of the Dragon season 1. And yeah, it's just some awesome stuff. I figured instead of doing a video on it, I figured I'll just go live and we'll just pull it all up, take a look at all of this awesome new concept art, and just leave it up on the channel for people to come and take a look at. I'm actually working on a House Stark, history of House Stark video that I'm currently working on right now. It'll be very similar to my history of Targaryen Kings video that I recently did a few months ago. The one that kind of blew up the channel, ended up getting 1 million views, which is so insane. Never thought that would happen. So I am doing a Stark version of that. I hope to have it out either tomorrow or Tuesday, the latest. So definitely be on the lookout for that. It's a really, really fun video. We're going to get it. I'm going to start all the way at the beginning of the first men, from the origin of House Stark to Brandon the Builder to becoming Kings of Winter to becoming Wardens of the North, everything in between. I'm going to cover all of it. It's going to be a very fun video. So if you are into House Stark, definitely do not want to miss that one. Like I said, I'm hoping to have it out either tomorrow or Tuesday, the latest. So definitely look out for that one. And I see you, Crazy Mad, History of the Danes. That is definitely the one that I'm going to do right after this Stark one. I love House Dane is probably my second favorite house overall after House Stark. I love House Stark. It's always been my favorite house, but House Dane is definitely probably my second favorite house, with the Targaryens being a close third. So yes, I am definitely going to do an in-depth House Dane video as well, and I'll definitely I'll be DMing you if to consult you a little bit about it, because I know Crazy Mad, he knows all of this lore just like we do as well. So if you want to help me out with putting that one together, I will definitely be DMing you, and we can talk some House Dane back and forth, and we will put together a badass History of House Dane video, because I love House Dane, man. Such a cool house. Such a cool house indeed. So yes, definitely be on the lookout for that as well. And I want to thank Leandro and Kayla for joining me tonight on this impromptu stream. And it's definitely something I'm going to get back to. I know we haven't been streaming on Sundays over these last few weeks. I've been really just juggling a lot of things. I came down with COVID, and I really just wanted to rest up a little bit, but starting to feel better now, starting to get back into the swing of things. So we're definitely going to start bringing back some more House of the Dragon streams. So definitely be on the lookout for that. And yeah, I just want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. Leandro, Kayla, you guys are freaking awesome. Thank you for joining us.
More concept art.
Yes, more concept art. Keep releasing it. Hell yes. I hope that they continue to release a ton of behind the scenes stuff, because now's the time. There's been a little bit of a lull. There isn't a whole lot of House of the Dragon news going on. We haven't heard anything in terms of casting, not a whole lot going on with filming season 2 and stuff. If they were ever going to, release some deleted stuff from season 1, now would be the time to, keep some interest in this show while we wait for season 2 to come around, because a 2-year wait in between seasons, it's rough. I mean, I am expecting, unfortunately, some people to maybe drop off and lose interest. It's a long wait in between seasons. So dropping stuff like this in the meantime is the perfect way to keep interest in this show. Hopefully we get some more deleted scenes and some more concept art and stuff like that over the next few months. That's what I'm hoping. Yeah. That is what I am hoping. But again, I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. Biggest thank you goes out to the chat. You guys absolutely rock. Wow. Definitely come and hang out with us this Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern. Shelby Robertson will be joining us, and we will be reviewing logos. That is right. Logos are so important to independent comic book making. It is the first thing that a lot of people see when they look at your IP and look at your book, is the title. Do you have a nice logo that stands out? We will be going over a ton of logos on the next episode of Comic Talk with Shelby, so you're definitely not going to want to miss that. And next week is our first ever live call-in show. Now, this is something that we have been teasing for a while that we are going to start to do. At the very least, we're going to do it once a month, where Saturday on our normal Comic Talk live show, we are going to throw the link right in the chat, and anyone who wants to come on and hang out with us, shoot the shit, talk all things comics crowdfunding, the good, the bad, the ugly. You have questions, concerns, anything you guys want to talk about, no subject is off the table, and that is something that we are really looking forward to doing. And this Saturday is going to be our first ever live call-in show, so you do not want to miss that one. It's going to be a lot of fun, and hopefully we get to hear from some new names and maybe some familiar faces that have been in the chat for a while, but maybe just haven't been on panel yet. And hopefully we get to hear what a lot of you guys have to say about the world of comics crowdfunding. And like I said, all subjects are on the table, and that's what we're looking forward to doing. So you're not going to want to miss that. first live call-in show this Saturday, 10 p.m. Eastern. You do not want to miss it. And of course, biggest thank you goes out to everyone. Thank you to all of the new members. Big shout out to all of the members who have recently joined. I cannot thank all of you enough. And of course, huge shout out to Chris Stanley for all of the memberships that he gifted this channel last night. He was just an absolute mad lad, just kept gifting membership after membership. It was incredibly generous, incredibly humbling. So big shout out to Chris Stanley, wherever he is. Hope you are having a swell evening, my friend. And yeah, we will see all of you guys this Saturday. Wow.
And there it was, the birth of my dick. The most significant thing to ever happen in our species. Now, that makes for some interesting phenomena. My dick begins to grow. My dick. My big ass dick. The most powerful dick in the world. I've got this big ass dick. This huge dick. The most powerful dick in the world. Here's what happens. My dick begins to grow. The power to stretch. Earth is turning into and out of my dick. My big ass dick. The most powerful dick in the world. I've got this big ass dick. This huge dick. The most powerful dick in the world. To the center of Earth. A stream of atoms. Oops! The wind changed directions. And all of a sudden, you become a victim of my dick. My big ass dick. The most powerful dick in the world. I've got this big ass dick. This huge dick. The most powerful dick